skip it up and that up.
Oh my god, it's wood grain. It must be 2009 again. No, I just moved back down to the same apartment, and like 2009, I have an exciting product to review. This is the Hauppauge HD PVR 2 Gaming Edition. And I've been using this for like the past week and a half, and I'm going to let you know my thoughts on it and give you a full review of the product. If you remember, obviously if you guys have been a subscriber to me for a while, you know this was my main beast. That's the original Hauppauge HD PVR, and it was really good for the time. Actually, it's still good to this day, but the shortcomings to it are a few things. One, compared to the Hauppauge HD PVR 2, the Hauppauge HD PVR 2 can be a bra for the original Hauppauge. This thing is ginormous. I actually like the look of this one better, the original Hauppauge HD PVR, but this one's a lot smaller, it's a lot more portable. But another shortcoming to it is that it only does component video, and it only does up to 1080i, whereas the Hauppauge HD PVR 2 does 1080p. So it was good for its time. It's still a beast if you have it, but I needed to upgrade, so that's why I got this guy. So let's take a look around the new Hauppauge HD PVR. Alright, in the front here, nothing special. This is where you have an indicator light, which is really sweet. This one had it too, but it's nice because it shows you if it's in standby, if it's powered on, so on and so forth, whereas this one just showed you if it was recording or not. On top of it, this is a huge feature. It has a record button. So you could be in the middle of a match, or if you're looking to record footage to review a game, you don't even have to be, whereas this one, the original PVR, you had to actually go into the software, click record. This one, all you have to do is have your computer turned on, you're in the middle of a match, you're like, hey, this would be really good footage to do a commentary over, click a button. Even if the software's not open, this button opens the software and it starts recording within like 10 to 15 seconds. Huge improvement. Take a look at the back and show you another huge improvement here. Not only does it still do component via the AV in, it comes with breakaway cables, it does HDMI input now. So not only can you record full 1080p at 30 frames per second, you could also record PC footage, which I'm going to show you after I'm done giving you a tour of this unit here. It has HDMI out. The other nice thing too is that when you have, say because PlayStation 3, due to copy protection, can only be captured with component cables, it'll still output the PlayStation 3's video signal via HDMI, so you don't have to have a bunch of component cables going in and out of this. All you need is the component cables going into the unit, which this does include PlayStation 3 component cables, and it'll output it to your TV via HDMI, so you don't have to worry about a huge mess everywhere. Alright, let's take a look back here too. There is your AC in. It comes with a very small power supply. It looks like a cell phone power supply. USB 2.0. This is not 3.0, but USB 2.0 has plenty of bandwidth to handle full 1080p at 30 frames per second. That's, like I said, where the component cables go in, your HDMI in, and your HDMI out. And that's pretty much it. The only gripe I have with it a little is it doesn't feel as robust as the original. I'm not even talking about size. This one feels like, you know, a piece of equipment. This one kind of feels like a toy. I mean, did I get over it? Yeah. But I just was used to that heft, and that this looks like a piece of home theater equipment. And that's honestly what it was really meant to be. The whole game capture thing just kind of caught on because everyone's like, hey, I hook up my PlayStation 3 to this, and the video looks awesome. It's 720p or 1080i, which, 1080i, you could take it or leave it. But it kind of caught on as a game capture device as opposed to just being used as a PVR, and this is why Hauppauge came out with this. But, you know, I like the look of the other one better, but like I said, as long as it does the job, who cares how pretty it is. So anyway, this is the Hauppauge HD PVR 2. This is what it looks like, and now I'm going to show you some footage. Now, I was going to compare footage from this with this, but it's like when you went from, like people like me, when you went from this HD PVR from like a Dazzle capture card. I mean, it's a huge difference, and the thing about it too is that you're also going via HDMI, so the edges of objects are going to look crisp with this. Colors are going to be sharper. I mean, component is great. This is still a great unit, but it's a night and day difference. It's just kind of pointless. And the highest quality this does is 1080i, and 1080i is interlaced, and the footage just looks like a mess. So it's kind of an unfair comparison that doesn't really make any sense to do. So I'm going to show you a bunch of games, probably like 4 or 5, that were recorded using the HD PVR 2 via HDMI. I'm going to show you some PC and Wii U gameplay, and you could see if this device is for you. Let's go take a look. So final verdict time, kids. Is the Hauppauge HD PVR for you? Well, I love the thing. I think it's a huge upgrade in video quality compared to the original Hauppauge. The edges are sharper, the colors are more vivid. Recording in full 1080p native now is fantastic, and being able to record from my computer not only gameplay footage but video footage for, you know, when I do news stories is amazing. I love that, and I love how convenient it is because of this button. Now, if there's only one complaint that I have about this, is I wish it was a little more sturdy. It does feel like a toy, and I don't like these breakaway cables. They do the job, the video quality's fine, but it just feels very fragile. I'll show you what I mean here. Alright, plug it in if I can through camera. You may see a cheesy... No, I got it. Okay. Now, these are in here like, oh, Rich, what's the big deal? You know, they're component breakaway cables. What's the big deal? They're a pain in the ass. This may seem like a small gripe, but once you get one, you'll see what I mean. Yeah, now, of course, it makes a liar of me on camera. But they are sometimes a pain in the butt to take back out, and I don't really know what would be a better solution for that. I mean, they do have, you know, kind of like these two grips in there that keep them in nice and tight. But I wish there was a way they can make, maybe even make like an HDMI port become where they put the breakaway cables in. It would be much easier to pull them in and out. That's my biggest complaint with it. Other than that, this thing was rock solid. There were 2 times I had kind of like a firmware bug with it where I had to unplug it. I mean, I used it probably about 3 dozen times. Happened twice. The first time when I first took it out of the box and installed the software, but once I installed the drivers, it went away. And another time I had to actually unplug it. But besides for that, it was rock solid. I had no issues recording. There was no lag. The sound wasn't out of sync. So I had a very painless experience with it. I know some people had issues with these. I didn't have any. Now, beyond the PVR itself, okay, you're going to need to have a pretty powerful computer, and I'll explain. Now, if you're on the PC side of things and you use Sony Vegas Pro, I use a Sony Vegas 10. It's the only video editing software I use. There's 3 different formats this device records in. It records in MT2S, TS, and MP4. Now, at least with Sony Vegas 10, that's the one I have, MT2S and TS do not, when you record in those formats and you transfer them over to Vegas, there's no audio. The only way you can get audio is if you encode the video in a different format, then plop them into Vegas, but that kind of defeats the purpose because the video starts looking like crap when you compress the video multiple times. Because think about it. This is compressing the video from whatever device you're recording from. So if you're recording from the Wii U, this is compressing it and making it into a video file. Then you'd have to compress it again. Then you'd bring it into Sony Vegas. Then you'd render it into a file you want to upload to YouTube or wherever. And it's going to compress it again. So you're going to start getting colors getting washed out. It's going to start looking grainy. It would defeat the purpose. Now, there's MP4 format. Okay, that's the one that actually works with Sony Vegas. That's actually a QuickTime format. You'll have to go to Apple, download QuickTime. It takes 10 minutes tops to do the whole procedure. Your computer will restart, and boom, Sony Vegas now works with the MP4 format. That's all well and good. That's not the big issue. The problem is before I just built an i7 gaming rig. Okay. What my previous rig was a AMD Phenom 2 XX 1045T. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, when I put the MP4 files into Sony Vegas, it crawled. The video in the preview screen ran about 6 to 8 frames per second. It was borderline. You couldn't even edit it because when you chop the video, when you try to cut the video and edit it, running video at 6 to 8 frames per second is a disaster. And then if you try to do any transitions or fades, it would just go down to a crawl. It wasn't until I had my i7 rig that I could actually, that's why this review took so long. I actually had to build my new computer to be able to actually edit the footage properly. So you're going to need a decent machine. You're going to need either like a Core i5 Sandy Bridge, I'm sure will be okay, or a Core i5 Ivy Bridge processor. Or you're going to have to go, if you're on the AMD side of things, you're going to have to be, 8320 or 8350 FX chip. Anything below that, you may have issues recording. I think Hauppauge should make that a little more known. Obviously, just recording the video, if I said recording before, I do apologize. Recording the video, all of the processing's done in here. You don't need to have a hefty rig for that. So if you're just looking to buy this just to record some footage and upload it straight to YouTube right from here, you're fine. But if you're like me and you have a YouTube channel and you're editing video, you're going to have a pretty hefty machine on the PC side anyway to handle the heavily compressed 1080p MP4 video in Sony Vegas, because if you don't, it's going to be virtually impossible, if not impossible, to edit it. So I just want to keep that in mind. But beyond that, the unit's great. It comes with all the cables you need. I don't know if I mentioned that before. It comes with the PlayStation output cable, so it comes with good quality PlayStation component cables you plug into the back of your PlayStation. It comes with breakaway cables. It also comes with 2 HDMI cables, a USB 2.0 cable, so you have everything you need right out of the box. I have the rest of the cables hooked up to my very complex workstation over there. That's why I don't have them out right now. But beyond that, the video quality is incredible. I know some people prefer the Elgato Game Capture HD over this. I'm very happy with this unit. It's definitely an asset to my whole channel and to my whole workstation. I think it's fantastic, and I can't recommend it enough. And the only other thing I could say is it has editing software in there. It comes with editing software. Don't rely on it. It's just meh. They all come with like their own cheesy editing program. I just would stay away from it. Just obviously use the capture software, capture the video, and get your own video editing software. Apple has obviously their own software, and I use Sony Vegas on the PC side of things. But beyond that, just stay away from the software any of these capture devices come with to edit video. They just all are nothing to write home about. But anyway, guys, I know this is kind of long-winded, but I had a lot to talk about. This is Rich Review Tech USA. I give this thing a thumbs up. I think it's awesome, and I think it does the job really well. And if you saw the video, which I'm sure you did, if you saw the video footage I captured, It all looks fantastic. I cannot recommend this product enough. Alright guys, make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and leave your thoughts about this below. Do you have one? What do you think of it? And I'll put up a new video very soon. Have a good one.